Recording in progress. Hey, y'all. Hey, it's your girl, Nadi, aka Queen Goddess Hope. I wanted to talk to you today about manifesting your reality. Eh. Manifest your reality. All right, so it's really simple, right? You know how you always be going off on extra, read all about it. But I wanted to discuss the importance of manifesting and knowing how to manifest, right? So for the Bible thumpers, there's this scripture that states, faith without works is dead. And a lot of people don't really understand what that means because they're saying, okay, you have to have faith. Sure, if you believe, it will be true. But in reality, what's really true is that, yes, you have to have faith, but you omit the second half of the faith, which is works. And the only way that you'll be able to manifest your reality is one, by having faith, and two, working toward that energy. Perfect example. You want to move. You have no idea where you're going to go, how you're going to pay for it. You just know that you've outgrown your current living situation. So you have faith that the Most High is going to bless you by providing. But in reality, you're not being specific enough. So the art of manifesting comes by you being specific, willing it into reality, praying it into the three-dimensional realm, which is where we presently live, and doing your part to believe that it will come true, i.e., getting specific. You know you want to move, but you're just believing for anything. So anything could literally come up. But because you weren't specific enough, I want 10-foot ceilings. I want to live in a compound that has a pool, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. I want to have an open concept, or I want a studio apartment that is open concept that still gives me room to have a divider, but also still have the amenities that I'm looking for, right? I love a gym, I love a pool. Those are requirements for me on top of having a washer and dryer in my home. Non-negotiable. Washer and dryer is the most important. The second most important is a bathtub, right? Getting specific, knowing that these are the things that you desire, making sure that your credit is up to par, making sure that you are praying for the resources to come to you. I know my deposit is going to be $500. I know that I don't want to go over X dollars for the rent. You're going to need to do the quick math. Let's call it 5K. Can you please get me 5K so that I can get this 2 bedroom, 2 bath apartment with an open concept kitchen with a bathtub, a pool, and a gym as featured amenities of the community? You see how that works? So now you have to do your part. First, write it down so that you can make it real. Do your part and looking for those spaces that align with those visions. Do your part in looking for the vehicle that aligns with your visions. Do your part in looking for a business partner that aligns with your business plan and concept. Do your part to find the perfect babysitter that will allow you to have some personal mommy daddy time. Do your part is the key because you can't manifest your reality without works, right? So, how are you going to thrive in that concept once it is actually delivered, right? What does it look like when you start getting the calls like, hey, we just saw your inquiry and we want to know if you want to come see the place? You know, when you're praying for things, sometimes it may not become real because there is no work behind it. And I want to talk to you about something. Dang, I don't even have it on this phone. Um, I'm just gonna go off the top. I had made a post about on Instagram. I don't think I posted it on Facebook about my life being similar to Job's life and how God would literally test you, push and pull you, and have your own people come up against you, including one of his dark angels, to see if you will turn your back away from the Most High. So, to me, this is all in line of manifesting, right? Depending on what you manifest, meaning positive or negative vibrations, because your words will allow you to manifest turmoil, hurt, loss, blah, 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 right? It will cause you to manifest things that technically don't align with your spirit because of your words. So that's why they say words are power. Your words are like a two-edged sword, right? That's also a biblical verse. So be careful about what you're manifesting, especially if you are asking for some type of blessing to be given to you. Are you immediately contradicting those blessings based upon how you are speaking immediately after, right? Be conscious of that energy because you're confusing the universe. You're confusing the Most High because either do you want it or do you not? You know, in the beginning of Job, it talks about how blessed he was. In fact, I think I have like six more chapters left. I just started reading it 2 days ago. So, that's what I do when I rise up randomly in the day. I'll pick what I feel like reading. And since there's 5011 Hebrew Israelites on my page right now, I've been going back into the Old Testament and reading, just because I've never departed from the word within the last, several months. It's what I felt was missing from my life. And while a lot of people may not agree with it, you still have to be able to use your third eye to read in between the lines because while we may not believe in an invisible sky daddy, you know, it is still an energy and a life force that will help you through difficult situations because a lot of present day things are in that book. So Job was immensely blessed. It talked about all of the things that he had, thousands of cows and cattle and oxes and family, kids, wife, he was blessed beyond measure. That's what I want to say. Blessed beyond measure. Ooh, yes. And because he was so blessed, the adversary was like, so God, what you think about your man Job? Can I test him a little some? And God was like, sure, I don't care. Just don't do this. But you could do everything else because I know my guy. He is going to ride for his papa. And he is going to do anything to maintain his faith. And while I don't recall the final things, but I'm pretty sure Job ended up being blessed anyway, because I haven't gotten there for a refresher. But he's cursed God, he lost his family in what I believe would be a modern day like tornado or hurricane. And all his livestock gone, home gone. Satan, the adversary, the lion, the devil, evil energy, dark energy, cursed his whole body with boils from head to toe. That is painful, painful experience, right? I became allergic to shrimp and a couple of other things when I started eating meat after not eating meat for a decade. And I started eating according to my blood type as opposed to just being vegan because I physically was lacking certain nutrients that I could get from eating a steak. And wow, I do this is weird. I don't eat beef, but I only eat steak. That's the maximum for me. And grass fed, this, that, all the lux. If it's fake, sure, whatever. I don't care anymore. I've been through all of this, but I know the benefits that I have for my body if I ingest a piece of steak and a piece of salmon once a month. And that's how my skin is on glow, baby. Say it all to say, considering these things, as soon as I went back into eating meat, my body reacted to a lot of things because it was now deemed foreign. So just think about it in this sense. You're just accustomed to blessings, blessings, blessings on blessings, blessings on blessings. And all of a sudden, you are given an adversity and you lose your faith. Why? Instead of continuously thanking the Most High for these lessons and blessings, because I'm in a season where I have lost everything and I've lost these things like every decade of my life. It's literally like a Job scenario. And I love it and hate it at the same time. I love it because there's always greater abundance that comes out of that. It is like, oh yes, I can't wait. I can't wait. They about to rain down on me. I can't wait. The blessings is coming on me. I can't wait. Getting excited for what's to come because you know that this is just simply a test. This is just strictly a lesson. I mentioned many times before, I accumulated all of this wealth on my own and I cut God out on the last phase of my blessings. And I reached a big, high space, like millionaire status on my own, truly self-made, literally no help, living by coastal, had a car rental business. Like I was genuinely thriving in a high vibrational space. And I was not bragging about my things, but I was showing people that they could do it too. Because no one can tell you that I don't work for my blessings. No one can tell you that I don't do what I say I'm going to do. No one can tell you that I'm going to get out of character if I am not receiving what I know is meant for me, right? I'm just going to keep going. And I'm so accustomed to people backstabbing me, not supporting me. I saw your braids, by the way, girl. You know who I'm talking to. I love that you would not support me, didn't even pay me to labor, but you immediately found somebody else to do the labor instead of trusting your friend, which is why we are no longer friends. But anyway, um, stop lurking on my page. We're not friends. And thinking about how I have been up against so much adversity during these 12 years of entrepreneurship. When people are hating on you, are jealous of you, are treating you in a slack mindset, gossiping about you, close to you so they could understand who you are, get the tea, and then still gossip around you, about you. Be intimate with your partner because they want what you got, not realizing that the only way and reason why he glowing is because I do the work in the spiritual and he does the work in the physical surfboard. And a lot of people want what you have, but never put in an ounce of work, can't even survive a month of promoting their business, right? Entrepreneurship is not easy. It is a flex to be doing this thing for 12 years. People may not have believed in you. I know people didn't believe in me. I don't even like working for people, but I do it because I have a new goal that I'm trying to reach. Maybe I want to fluff up my stock market portfolio for a little while. And the best way to do that is with a consistent paycheck every 2 weeks, right? There are so many different things that you can do to bless yourself and to elevate your family into another tax bracket, into another realm and dimension as feminine. And there are still people who are going to come up against you because they think that you paid for this, or you slept with somebody for this, or you cheated your way out of it. Because so many people have just dismissed the fact that we all have true generational hard work in our system as melanated entities and forces, right? Our ancestors literally toiled the land for no money in the Africa heat, in the hot sun for years, decades, a century, and then some, and still some to this very day. You got all these ICE people arresting people. Who the fuck gonna plant my vegetables? Who is gonna get me those precious strawberries and blackberries and limes and this and this? There's so many things. Like, who is going to do that for us when you're kicking out all of the people who labored for us? Do you understand? Makes no sense. So when you're in a low season, you have to continue to pray and rejoice. Continue to have faith without works. Continue to manifest your reality. Continue to be blessed. Continue to keep fighting. The reason why things don't bother me anymore, because I'm not surprised anymore. People do not surprise me. I have intuition. I have prayer. I have a book that was left behind for 2000 some odd years that I did not read for 5 years. Didn't care. I know the word. I don't need to read it every day because it's already been embedded in me for 20 plus years of my life. I know it. Let's talk about it, right? This is so refreshing. Papaya, pineapple, grapefruit juice, 100% grapefruit juice, a little bit of water, and mango. Bomb. And it got some chunks in here. Bomb. Hold on. Gotta lick my straw. I'm gonna put the top back on. Stainless steel straws, best. My cousin had these in Cali 100 years ago. I hope she still uses them. But she used to carry them in her purse, which was mad funny. But I'm telling you, it makes your hot drinks hotter and your cold drinks colder. It's so bomb. But just thinking about the blessings and how you continue to remain steadfast, continue to keep God first, continue to pray. I talk about how during that 5 year pause from religion, um, my form of prayer was journaling, and I was still being gifted with downloads in my dreams and still highly intuitive and still keeping some form of manifesting in my life, regardless of what we may call it, it's still a form of prayer, right? Every religion has one thing in common, and that's prayer. We're conscious about honoring the most high God, and we're thankful for all of the blessings and all of the things that we may have to thrive in this terrible world, right? We will hear wars, and we will know that these things could potentially harm us. Too many of us are obsessed with what's happening globally instead of worrying about the town in which you live, where you pay taxes. Your scope is too far. You got on the binoculars when you really need a magnifying glass. Bars. Okay? You really need to focus on your community and not what's going on outside of it. We're too consumed with these tracking devices, right? We're too consumed by them. We're not allowing ourselves to escape. A lot of people are passive parenting, right? Giving their children the television and iPads and cell phones. Their kids know how to send text message and navigate through their phones better than them. And they're giving these kids this before they even turn 1 year old. If you knew anything about the biology and anatomy of a human being, you know that is the worst thing that you can do. Imagine your child not fully developing as a human because they have a blue light and 5G radiation permeating their system because you don't want to be an active parent. An old friend of mine, and I had a lengthy conversation yesterday about multiple things. And I love when like-minded individuals can come together, and there's also an opportunity for growth for both parties, right? And just thinking about life's experiences and having been connecting with them for some time and recalling situations and circumstances and rethinking about childbirth. And I remember my mom wanted me to have a kid, and I wasn't even fucking 30 yet. And I'm like, bro, what? What are you talking about? You want me to have a baby? You sound crazy. I don't even have anything. I still live with you. Talking about have a baby. What? Why? And I was engaged at that time, and we had a 2 year plan. Like, okay, we'll get married and we'll have a baby in 2 years. He wanted to be a certain age. He wanted his existing children to be a certain age. And I was okay with that because I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur full time. I didn't care about not bearing children. And then another person sometime later is like, hey, you need to stop playing with your ovaries. And I'm like, y'all think that people be playing with their ovaries when some people just don't want to have children. Other people have had miscarriages. Other people may not be focused on that and intentionally single because they know that the legacy that they're building is bigger than children right now. I believe that my community is my children in some way, shape, or form. And when it's my time to be a mother, I will. I'm not tripping. I don't worry about that because I know what I've prayed for. I know what I'm manifesting. I grew up in a biblical home as a Jehovah's Witness kid, as a Southern Baptist kid, to each parent, right? Divided household, two separate everything, separate religion, separate, separate, separate. So therefore, the word is embedded in me, sure, but it was also embedded that I shouldn't have children out of wedlock. I should save myself from marriage. I recognize all of these things present day, right? I was discussing with a friend of mine, and he was like, I think you are onto something with the idea that you want to be with somebody long term because I refuse to be a baby mama. And then there's others who believe that you shouldn't live your life according to biblical texts, right? Because the truth is, how many wives do you have if every time you bet a woman, she's now considered your wife, right? How many husbands do I have if every man that I've bet is now my husband, right? We need to get back to those things, and I'm going to say them actively and often because I don't believe that we as a people know the true way. If we don't have basic community guidelines for Black culture, then what is the right way? What is the right way? Men are okay with women having girlfriends that are intimate with one another so that he can have one too. But in reality, that's my girlfriend. That's not our girlfriend. What are you talking about? Now, get your own. But they feel like that's okay. And women have to be okay with that concept too, right? Are you okay sharing your man? 9 times out of 10, they say no. And that may be an insecure thing. That may be a territorial thing. A lot of men feel very, very passionate about protecting their woman. And then there's some people who really don't give a fuck. Where do you lie in that realm? Are you okay as a woman knowing that your man has another woman? But in reality, a lot of women are very upset that they're cheated on often because there are more than one, there's more than one woman outside of you, right? And I'm not even angry anymore. I just really want you to be honest about it. That's really how I feel, right? I think Kanye said in a verse what? He said, "Don't ever F nobody without telling me." Sunglasses in Advil. Last night was mad real. Sun coming up 5 a.m. I wonder if they got cabs still. Y'all know the rest. And it's a fact, right? So never F nobody without telling me. And this is what I'm saying. There was a show. Ooh, it was so good. They canceled that shit. I think it was Layla Rashawn, and she was married to like the governor or a senator out in Atlanta. And they equally had an open relationship, but he had a whole ass family, and it looked like she couldn't have children. And I say that's the norm. I feel like, there are men who are with women who may be barren, right? There's a show that I watched on Netflix that was the situation. And the husband just was like, whatever, I'm gonna have a whole family outside of you, right? And they penalized her and treated her poorly because she couldn't conceive. And I feel like if a woman is with a man and that's her first husband, and if they don't have children, he has every right to want to create a legacy for him, right? That's the entire purpose of why men can have children at any age and women cannot. So are you mad about this situation? No. I know that when it's my time, based upon my private conversations with the Most High, I will conceive. It's not a big deal. I don't care how old I am, because with the advancement of science and technology, and sure, we may not completely agree with it, right? Of these womb incubation, i.e., matrix documentary systems, we can still have children well into our age. They can inject us with hormones, not saying that this is what I believe I would do, because if it ain't happened naturally, it ain't fucking happening. And I'm perfectly fine with that, right? I can go either way with this because, again, I feel like my community are my children, right? These are like my cousins, and some of them want to create incest with me, like, oh, yeah, we like her. We want to marry her. We want to procreate with her. And I think that's beautiful, right? Having a large community in Ghana, Nigeria, and recognizing that my work is now trickling over to the UK some, I'm loving the idea and the fact that I can get this word out to other people to help people know that they're not alone, right? The continent of Africa has, like, I think almost 80 or 90% of people between the ages of 20 and 30 years old. That is crazy. That is crazy. And there's a need and a desire, and there's a hunger for knowledge and creativity there, right? Sure, the United States has intentionally kept this continent down for centuries. It even stole its actual people, right? I'm thankful to have Native American blood flowing through my veins. That means that I am native to this land. There are native Africans that are now native to the United States again. And when I think about it, I don't think that there isn't any place on this whole globe that isn't native to Africans. Your melanin may be lying dormant in you because you live in a cold climate. Think about the Russians. Think about the Asiatic black man. Think about. There are literally black Russians because they migrated to that land, and due to the weather and lack of sunlight, they are now looking less than melanin, right? Think about my pigment. I can get super dark and come out looking fully Dominican, but not Dominican. Shout out to the Boricuas. Shout out to my Bayesian posse. You know, just embracing Caribbean roots, acknowledging that I have African ancestry, acknowledging that I know who I am through and through to the core, willingly giving up my DNA because when I was a kid, they already stole it, going to the hospitals, going to GYN visits, taking blood samples. We've already given them every bit of us, already given every bit of us. Why are we still complaining about them having access to us when they've already had it for so long? And this is again where the prayers, faith without works is dead. What can we do outside of talking about it? This may be my version of getting knowledge to the masses and doing something about it, right? Just sowing the seed, because all it takes is a spark of a thought, right? Thinking about a mustard seed, how small that seed is. Some of us cook with it. Some of us put it in our spices as Caribbean people, African people, recognizing that we have powerful uh intellect within our DNA that is envied by an entire community, an entire civilization of people. What happens when the gets hotter and there are no more white people roaming the planet? They're all underground. What happens when the creatures come out of the ground? What happens when the Nephilim come out of the ground? Like, what? Like, I'm scared at the thought. Like, geez. This is what y'all really look like when the reptilians start peeling, when their skins are completely red because they still want to look like leather. Like y'all tan your skin to look like us and you can't even take it. Think about um Trump when he first got into office. He used to tan and he used to have the goggles. Used to have the goggles, covering his eyes so you know what that life was about. You are more powerful than you know. I maintain my faith because there's nothing else to do. When you're accustomed to people coming up against you, it doesn't even bother you. It bothers you initially, but you still have to keep going. I recognize that I have a community to nurture. So I have to keep showing up in any capacity. I don't care if I'm giving good news or my true life force business. I'm still going to show up, God willing. So when it comes to manifesting, whether if you're doing it by vision board, if you're physically writing it down, pen to paper, if you're typing it out, I encourage you to pen to paper it, burn it if you wish. We had a pink moon. The moon was so beautiful last night, rising up above the horizon and recognizing that I am truly blessed to be able to witness these things and be privileged enough to know that I want to operate in my light feminine energy, that many of my blessings become very, very visible during full moon cycles. Like I am so utterly thankful to also cycle with the new moon, right? Recognizing that I'm in a dark feminine space and it's also a time of releasing. I'm so thankful to be in line with that, right? I had a YouTube 100 years ago, the beginning of the pandemic, red moon or white moon, I think it was. Which moon do you cycle with? And a lot of people have different superstitions about the moon and just the energy it embodies, or if it's even real, if it's really a satellite, like if this is all fake and in a simulation, if I'm really attached to a device, which I am, because clearly here I am recording, on some Matrix shit, when are they gonna pull the plug? When are they gonna eject me out of the Matrix? Some idiot was on another community members page talking crazy to me in the DMs. And I'm like, men, y'all gotta fucking relax. Like, y'all never want to go back and forth in the comments with another man, but you always want to do it with a woman because you think you have more power over her, because you feel like it's your rightful place to correct her when you're not even my man. Like, what are you talking about? I'm going to listen from instruction from two people, the Most High God and the person I'm intimate with, right? Because my dad already washed his hands. So he's no longer my king. The Most High is my king. He immediately got switched, right? When you recognize the hierarchy of the way things truly are in this planet, then you look at the divine feminine as a fortress. This man said he would never bow down to anything, only God. And I'm like, bro, what are you then you're gonna be single your whole life. You talking about you want an empress and you want to worship and you want to do this and you want me to go out on a date with you, but you're never gonna propose. You're never gonna get down on your knees to propose. You're never gonna honor me as a Black woman. Never, if you can't even humble yourself to do that. Take the pride out of this. You need to take the pride out of love. Take ego out of love. Too many people are going to miss their opportunity on good things because you have pride and ego. Think about it as the red and the black, right? I often talk about, well, I just recently started talking about, to me, the red is anger and the black is soulless. If those are the only two colors that you're surrounded by, if you're not willing to change your environment, if you're not allowing peace to enter, if you're not allowing the light to enter, that light energy in your dark space will soon become a flickering flick until that shit is no longer shining. Who is going to help you in that energy? Who? Who? I'll wait. Who? Who? You can only help yourself. You cannot be too humble to. This guy said, and I was like, I'm literally scared of you. This man said he would not even bow down on his knees to pray. No, sir. Me not like that. Me not like that. You are too good for me, my guy. You're bugging. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you have. If you, I don't care who your title, your label, all that shit is out if you cannot even humble yourself amongst the Most High. By him typing that, you don't even know the backlash that's about to come to you saying something crazy like that. It's the audacity for me. I've been telling Tafret for how many years now? She could vouch. The audacity was handed out in high doses January 1st, 2020. And every single year, that should get a little bit more potent than the previous year. Let's call it audacity boosters. Kidding me? Bugging. I'm never too humble to bow to the Most High God. And if I were a masculine force and I knew that I loved a woman and I felt inclined that I want to take care of her and that I never even want to see her alone roaming these streets, like I feel like this is my perfect match. I am going to get on one knee and ask her for her hand in marriage because I am not afraid to bow to the Most High God. You clearly went to God already in prayer, in your own sacred personal time, and asked the Lord for a blessing. If you cannot invite God into your life, into your business, into your home, where are you thriving? Where? Like I said, I reached millionaire status without God, and he was like, okay, poof, be gone. And then somebody tried to kill me, baby. excuse me, unalive me. Like, what? You don't think I know who did it? Funny ass people. The Most High hears and sees all things, omnipresent. Be careful who you try to come up against. This motherfucker, the devil is a liar, right? Y'all roaming around talking about Satan this, Satan that, when he literally still got access to God. And you don't. What? Think about that. Think about that. That is still God's son. Positive and negative, Jesus and Satan, Beelzebub. Positive and a negative, a yin and yang energy, a white and a black energy, a dark and a light energy. Planets, Mars and Venus, right? I think they said Michael. I recently heard this and I thought it was a great thought. Michael and Jesus are Venus and Mars energy. And the universe is God. And the planets are the angels. And I'm like, am I just a star? I walk in that energy. Cool. But the fact is, y'all need to stop buying stars for people because we're continuously and ever spiraling on in this Milky Way galaxy throughout the universe, and we're never seeing the same stars. Last night, I felt like I witnessed during the pink moon a star, a gas giant just moving. And at first I thought it was like a UFO or something like that. And come to find out, I think it was just a gas giant just sitting there. It just kept going up. And at first it wasn't moving back and forth. It just did it and went straight up. Dope to see, dope to witness. And I just kept staring at it to see if it was going to disappear. And it just went up. And that's what made me started thinking about, the how in awe I am of nature and how these solar flares are impacting us day in and day out, and how there's going to possibly never be a winter ever again. Living on the East Coast for so many years, I had realized that people don't pay attention to weather. They don't look up. They don't look at the sky. They don't have access to the moon, especially in New York. They don't get to hear birds chirping. It's just closed in energy. And while the thriving and the bustling and the hustle is appealing to a lot of foreigners, you don't realize that there are people who actually live there and take on that energy day in and day out, right? They don't have access to changing that energy. They've never left the hood ever. They've never traveled to other domains, seen mountains in the sky, know that it's raining far away and what rain actually looks like, where it's not raining where you are, but from far away distance, you can see rain as a cloud. Like people just don't know. You have to escape your reality in order to become free as fuck. Hello. What? You know, just think about that for a moment. How will you decide to escape your reality today? Manifesting is not about wishing, it's about alignment. Again, manifesting is not about wishing, it's about alignment. Everything has to match. You have to put out that high vibrational energy and be about it and believe that it's actually going to happen. When we burn candles or altar or to manifest, it's just a glass jar and wax, right? Depending on who filled the candles, it may have been done by a machine, it may have been done by a person with sheer intention. The herbs that are placed inside of those fixed candles, those spiritual candles, those are, again, herbs that are meant for manifesting. certain herbs give off certain vibrations or energies, right? So you put those in those candles based upon which colors or what things you're trying to manifest. So if I know that I'm manifesting, I always say like yellow candles are for focus, right? That's what someone told me in a botanica 100 years ago in NOLA. And that person was like, you need a mini candle. And if you cannot burn it, just do it while you're in the shower at least, because water is also a powerful, powerful force for manifesting, right? It is known that if you speak into your water, the molecules immediately change. They take on the energy and the vibration that you are speaking into the water. That's why it's suggested that you speak into your water, I love you, Nadia, before you drink it. May you be blessed with blah, 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 Nadia. And then you drink it. Think about all of these things that are happening to us within our present reality. And because we are in a three-dimensional state, people just have so much shit. They have so much stuff, and they don't even realize that the stuff is what is going to pull them down. Bag lady, you gonna hurt your back. Dragging all the bags like that. I guess nobody ever told you. All you do is hold on to something. I don't know how it goes. Is you, yes, they do. Mhm. One day he gonna say you crowding my space. Oh fuck. I have to add that to the playlist. Mm. All bags gonna get in your way. One day he gonna say you crowding my space. So pack light. Shout out to Mama Erica. Girl, I know. Mm. Pack light. And you know what's so funny? Being around a generation of people who went without, growing up with little to none in the 60s to the 80s, and life being created with them specifically in mind to give them little. Like we keep joking about I think it's Tillamook brand of cheese that's dead ass New York no frills brand government cheese. It tastes just like it. Like it tastes just like it. And there's no way you're gonna tell me that it's not, because I know what I taste. I gotta ask E3 if he think that shit is real, because it tastes just like it. And that no frills brand energy, knowing that they continue to give us less and poison our bodies, right? They said Lysol was once used as a badge spray, and now all of a sudden it's a disinfectant. Think about all the women with smelly cooch who literally use Lysol as a badge spray. Do you think those people have illnesses present day? Think about all these physical products. All if you go to the beauty aisle, any store, there's rows and rows of beauty products. These ingredients are so harmful to the human body. Think about starch. Remember back in the day, we used to spray our clothes when we ironed them with starch. Do you know that is actually in some of our foods today? Then they tell us that they can't even grow our own vegetation. I just watched a video today that Africa can't even grow their own food because it's solely meant for export purposes. And if the United States decides to no longer utilize that vegetation, that continent will starve. Meanwhile, anything can grow on that land, and it does, including diamonds and rubies and minerals that are used to power tracking devices. But I got 6 minutes before I have to jump on my next call. You know, they be scared when I get to talking. So let me shut up. Just kidding. But in reality, we really, really, really need to utilize the information that we're given. ChatGPT is definitely lit, but there are other AI tools, right? I'm speaking to myself because my goal right now is to learn as much as I can so that I am continuously maintaining the the status that I know, right? I have to go watch iRobot again because baby. And thinking about Taraji, Sherry, and Tiana's new movie Straw, you are, in fact, in that last straw energy. And the reason why this movie was depicted, I believe, is because it's a tall telling sign about what's to come. They are eradicating thousands and thousands of jobs. Last year, Wall Street Trapper said that they needed to cut 1 million jobs. 1 million. Ooh, let's see the quick math. Let's X chat real quick since I have 4 minutes. Chat, can you tell me how many jobs were lost in 2024 and how many jobs year to date in 2025? Searching the web, because in a reality, a lot of people are not going to realize that with job loss comes hyperinflation. But you ain't hear that from me. Damn, 4 minutes early. Hold on a second. Howdy. I am recording and I have to call somebody in 3 minutes. We some busy niggas, huh? She wanted weed? A wig, nigga. All right, well, yeah, I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna call you back. I'll call you back at 2 o'clock. All right, bet. Fuck, and I have an appointment at 3, so this is terrible. Bruh, come on. I can't wait till tomorrow, but okay. I love you. I'll talk to you. Bye. Damn, I want to talk to her. That's so funny. All right, now back to chat. Mind your business. 2024 job losses. Corporate layoff, Challenger Gray and Christmas reported 761,358 job cuts across the US in 2024. Video game sector, more than 14,000 jobs were lost in 2024 in that industry. 2025 year to date through May. Corporate layoffs, a record-breaking 696,309 job cuts announced by firms in the first 5 months of 2025. Government sectors, federal workforce reductions include 260,000 since Trump's second term, includes buyout, retirements, and firing. HSS alone cut 20,000, FDA 3,500, CDC 2,400, NIH 1,200, CMS 300. Household job losses May, meaning the month, showed a drop 696,000 household employment tied to lower participation. So 2024, just a summary table. Again, corporate layoffs, 761,358. Video game industry in 2024, 14,600 jobs. 2025 year to date, corporate layoffs, 696,309 jobs. 2025 year to date, federal workforce, 260,000 positions. May 2025 household employment minus 696,000 jobs. Takeaways. 2024 saw over 760,000 layoffs, the highest in 15 years outside of pandemic. So far in 2025, firms have already announced, I have 1 minute left, oh my God, have already announced nearly 700,000 cuts, matching last year's total just in under half the time. The federal workforce has also downsized significantly. Household employment data shows sharp job loss, 696,000 in May alone. If you really need a deeper dive by industry, state level impacts, or full year projections, let me know. I've got some ready. And it gave me things from 5 days ago and present day or yesterday from Investopedia, New York Post, and The Guardian. Terrible, terrible, terrible. It says Macy's among retail store closures, part of overall 274% spike in layoffs. This is so bad. So, so bad. But you know what? We are here. We are back and we are here to take our power back. Call your power back to you every single day. Make sure that you're manifesting your reality. Yes, I'm still Black. Yes, I still use the word nigga. Because you know what? That's just the way me and my cousin express ourselves. So mind your business. All right. Well, I really hope and pray that you got something out of this because it is going to be very imperative to manifest your reality, especially if you are one of those people who have been victim to job loss. All right. Whatever you do, become free as fuck. Peace.